I need someone to show me my place in this.
About Star Wars. Jet. Okay, where was I? Okay, let's see. Shortly after the Battle of the Stars, Starkiller Base, General Leia Organa and the Resistance were evacuating their base when the First Order fleet arrives. Against Leia's orders, Poe Dameron leads a costly counterattack that destroys a First Order dreadnought. The remaining Resistance escape into hyperspace, but the First Order uses a device to track them and attacks again. Kylo Ren hesitates to fire on the lead Resistance ship after sensing his mother Leia's presence on board. But his wingmen destroy the bridge, killing most of the Resistance's leaders. Leia was dragged into space but survives by using a force while Leia recovers. Vice Admiral Holdo assumes command of the Resistance, running low on fuel. The remaining fleet was pursued by the First Order. On Acto, Rey attempted to recruit the Luke Skywalker to Resistance under self-imposed exile. Luke refused to help, believing that the Jedi should end. After encouragement from R2-D2, he agreed to give Rey 3 lessons in the ways of the Force. During training, Rey and Kylo began communicating through the Force, which puzzles them both. Kylo tells Rey that Luke fears his power. Luke confesses that the momentarily contemplated killing Kylo upon sensing that Snoke was corrupting him, which prompted Kylo to destroy Luke's new Jedi Order. Convinced that Kylo can be redeemed, Rey leaves Act 2. Luke prepares to burn the Jedi library but hesitates. The spirit of Luke's master Yoda appears and destroys the library by summoning a bolt of lightning. He encourages Luke to learn from his failure. To Bite, where they met the hacker DJ. Pursued by the local security, they escape Canto with the help of a stable hand. Children and racing animals they set free. Finn, Rose, and DJ infiltrate Snoke's flagship, but were captured by Captain Phasma. Kylo brings Rey to Snoke, who claimed that he connected that their minds discovered Luke's whereabouts. Holdo plans to evacuate the remaining members of the Resistance using small transport vessels. Believing her plan cowardly and futile, Poe leads immunity, recovered. Leia stuns Poe with a blaster and proceeded with the evacuation. Holdo remains aboard the ship as a decoy to mislead Snoke's fleet as others flee to the abandoned base on Crate. DJ buys his freedom by revealing the Resistance's plan to General Hux, and the First Order fleet begins firing on the evacuation transports, destroying many. Ordered to kill Rey, Kylo instead kills Snoke, and they work together to defeat his Praetorian Guard. Rey hopes that Kylo has abandoned the dark side, but he instead asks her to rule the galaxy with him. Refusing, she battles him for control of Luke's lightsaber. By accepting the weapon, Holdo sacrifices herself by slicing through Snoke's flagship at light speed, crippling the First Order fleet. Rey escaped the destruction while Kylo declares himself Supreme Leader. BB-8 frees Finn and Rose. They fought and defeat Cap Phasma and joined the survivors on Crate. When the First Order arrives, Poe, Finn, and Rose attack with obsolete speeders. Rey and Chewbacca drew TIE fighters away in the Millennium Falcon. While Rose stops Finn from sacrificing himself, the First Order penetrates at the Resistance fortress using a siege cannon. Luke appears and confronts the First Order, allowing the surviving Resistance to escape Kylo's orders. The First Order's forces to fire on Luke, but they failed to harm him. He then engaged Luke in a lightsaber duel. Upon striking Luke, Kylo realizes that Luke is not physically present but projecting his image through the Force. Rey helped the remaining Resistance escape on the Falcon. Exhausted, Luke died peacefully to Act 2, becoming one with the Force. Rey and Leia sense his death, and Leia told Rey that the Resistance can rise again. At Canto Bight, the Stable Hands recount the story of Luke Skywalker. Afterward, one of them moves a broom with the Force and gazes into space. The Last Jedi was part of a new trilogy of films announced after Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm in October 2012. It was produced by Lucas President Kathleen Kennedy and Ram Bergman, and executive produced by The Force Awakens director J.J. Abrams. John Williams, composer of the previous episodic films, returned to compose the score. A number of scenes were filmed at Skelling Michael in Ireland during pre-production in September 2015, but principal photography began at Pinewood Studios in England in February 2016 and wrapped at July. The Last Jedi was premiered in Los Angeles on December 9, 2017, and was released in the United States on December 15th. It grossed $1.334 billion worldwide, becoming the highest grossing film of 2017, and the ninth highest grossing film of all the time. By the time its theatrical run was over, it was also the second highest grossing Star Wars film and turned a net profit of $417 million. The film was critically acclaimed and received 4 nominations at the 90th Academy Awards, including for Best Original Score and Best Visual Effects, as well as 2 nominations at the 71st British Academy Award Films. A sequel, After finishing the European leg of her book tour, her appearance prior to death was on in episode 8 of About 10 Cats. Fisher was commercial flight on December 23, 2016, United Airlines Flight 935 from London to Los Angeles, when she had a medical emergency around 15 minutes before the aircraft landed. A passenger seated near Fisher reported that she had stopped breathing. Another passenger performed CPR on Fisher until paramedics arrived at the scene. Emergency services in Los Angeles were contacted when the flight crew reported a passenger unresponsive prior to landing. Fisher was taken by ambulance to the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, where she was placed on a ventilator. On the morning December 27, 2016, after being in intensive care for 4 days, Fisher died at the age of 60 at the UCLA Medical Center. Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd, confirmed her mother's death in a statement to the press. On January 9, 2017, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health issued a death certificate that stated cardiac arrest deferred as a cause of death, with more tests to be expected. In a June 16, 2017 news release, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office said that the exact cause of death could not be determined, but sleep apnea and a build of fatty tissue on the walls of arteries were among the contributing factors. A full report from June 19, 2017 stated that Fisher had cocaine in her system, as well as trace of heroin, other opiates, and MDMA. The report also stated that the investigation was unable to determine when she had taken the drugs and whether they contributed to her death. Her daughter stated that Fisher battled drug addiction and mental illness her entire life. She ultimately died of it. Sorry. She was purposefully open in all of her work about the social stigma surrounding these diseases. I know my mom's, she wanted her death to encourage people to be open about their struggles. In her 2008 work, Wishful Drinking, Fisher wrote that no matter how I go, I wanted reported that I drowned in moonlight, strangled by my own bra. After Fisher's death, several news sources and magazines honored her requests in their obituaries, with bustle featuring a fantastical reimagining of Fisher's last moments as an ascent into space. On December 28, 2016, the day after Fisher's death, her mother, Debbie Reynolds, had a stroke at the home of her son, Todd, where the family was planning Fisher's burial arrangements. She was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where she died later that afternoon. According to Todd, Reynolds had said, I wanted to be with Carrie immediately before she had a stroke. On January 5, 2017, a joint private memorial was held for Fisher and Reynolds. Fisher was cremated with her mother was entombed. A portion of Fisher's ashes was placed beside Reynolds in a crypt at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills. The remainder of those ashes are held in a giant novelty Prozac pill. Peter Mayhew died. He died of heart attack on 30th April 2019 at his home in Boyd, Texas, at age 74. He was buried in Reno Park County, Texas, in Aslan Memorial Park and Mausoleum. Harrison Ford praised Mayhew for his great dignity and noble character. Mark Hamill called Mayhew the gentlest of giants. Anthony Daniels detailed his recollections about working with Mayhew on the original trilogy, the Star Wars Holiday Special, and television shows, and their reunion. In The Force Awakens, in his 2019 memoirs, I Am C-3PO, The Inside Story. You guys may know this, Tom Kane before. He was, he played as, he played a character Professor from Powerpuff Girls, and he played the park attractions announcer from Disneyland and Walt Disney World, which I didn't know. He announced it when I arrived at Walt Disney World for the first time. Anyway, after success of Star Wars Force Awakens in November 2020, I got some in my throat or something. Him with significant weakness on his right side of his body and damage to his speaking, writing, and reading abilities. In September 2021, his daughter Sam confirmed that he had to retire from voice acting. She gave regular updates on his Facebook about his condition. Kane later died from complications of the stroke at a hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. On May 18, 2026, at the age of 64, his talent agency, Galactic Productions, announced the news on Facebook. Others, such as the Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, creator Craig McCracken, and a titular cast members of the Powerpuff Girls of Kathy Cavadini, Tara Strong, and E.G. Daily. Pay their respects to him on their social medias. When I was in Comic-Con before, I think I see Jodie Benson, but I haven't seen Tara Strong, though. I was blindsided while I was volunteering there. And E.G. Daily paid their respects to him on their social medias, with the latter three uniting with him at the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention in March 2026, his final appearance prior to his death. For Kenny Baker, he died on 13th of August 2016, 11 days shy of his 82nd birthday. His funeral was held at the Park Cemetery Crematorium at Lytham St. Anne's on 24 August 2016. Let's see. Okay. For Jamie Christopher, he died of Los Angeles of heart complications on August 29, 2023 at the age of 52. The Phantasm 4 First Steps was dedicated to his memory along with Mac Shackman's mother, Ines. Okay. If y'all love Star Wars The Last Jedi, you can stream it along with more of your favorites on Disney Plus.
Honestly, how many times did Admiral Akbar have to warn those rookies about traps? That they get themselves caught so easily is an affront to his memory. Sorry about that. I just really admired the Admiral, you know? And I feel like he's not going to be able to rest easy if we don't get those rookies out of those traps. You'll go rescue them. Akbar will be most proud. I've sent you the distress beacons from the rookies. Looks like they've got themselves trapped all over. Sorry to send you around the houses on this.
Alright, my ship. Ship. God.
Nolia buki atuna kupagalo tinga. Min di fasti Buddha.
I wish I could say I've seen... It's not snow. I checked. It's salt. Really. Hit the ground if you don't believe me. What is... Sorry.